I feel that we are in a phase right now that it's been normalized. It's normal to blame the Jews. I mean, it's not just blaming. Obviously, it would be the Jews. It got there. We're there. Just like Chang said, it's the Jews. Why? Because, well, I was sitting on the toilet and I just thought about it. So it's the Jews.
Mm. I feel like it's propaganda from Russia. Like people did their exams and PhDs and postdocs on this kind of material since I don't know when. I mean, I bet they have tons of libraries and courses and like it's like an operation running already. And then they combine it with other countries that are good in brainwashed and maybe other practices. And it became excellent. I mean, they took it really to the next level. But you think it's just because we are in this point, so people like to hate, they like to consume this because they already agree, or just or it was always like that.
I think that some substantial measures have been taken by Qatar to make sure that lots of media outlets in the YouTube sphere would repeat their propaganda. I see that with American YouTubers, especially. There's this guy called G Day Delay or DJ Delay. He's a YouTuber. He's got a couple of million subscribers. His story is that he was charged with Grand Theft Auto. He got out and started a podcast, and he's a guru for the youth because he knows so much. And he is pretty much America first, MAGA, let's go Trump and all that. And in the last couple of days, he started spewing shit on Israel. No freaking reason around, just joining the grift with everybody, or he's getting paid. Now, I was not sure if he's getting paid, but today, just before you started your show, I saw that he made content on a Christian guy that was arrested in the Christmas celebration for assaulting a police officer who tried to take his speakers because he was blasting with his speakers after 11. So the officer can, it's allowed in Israel that you will take the speakers. They assaulted the police officers. They needed to arrest the Christians. What are you going to do when people are beating off cops? They get arrested in here. He said, and he framed it as the Israeli police arresting Christians for celebrating Christmas, not for assaulting police officers, for celebrating Christmas.
Mm.
Okay. Just just easy, you know. It's like
It took me a minute to check what they got the guy for, what they arrested him for. It
Yeah,
took me
what
it
we
takes seconds. It takes seconds to check these things, but they just say it and people believe it.
Yeah, I know who this guy is. I've been watching him for a while now. I've actually liked him for the most part, but yeah, he's kind of gone down a road lately where he's just spouting shit like that. He said, just another guy jumping in, and bashing Israel for bullshit reasons.
I guess it's good business. I don't know. I mean, maybe you should switch, you know.
Arman raised his
Yeah,
hand. Arman,
Arman.
what's what's on your mind?
I have some comments about this, but let's see Arman what he has to
Hi.
say.
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I wanted to ask this question from Armin Navabi about laïcité secularism, which is French secularism. I don't think it works because it is causing more Muslims to be radical because they can go into private institutions and still solidify their Islamic identity. And also 51% of French Muslims still think that Sharia law should supersede French law. I don't think it is causing Muslims to prioritize French national identity over Islamic identity. Like, I don't think it's working. Like, do you think
So the
there's an
problem is not
alternative to
laicite.
this?
The problem is letting in so many people with shit ideas that not even laicite could hold them back. Laicite is not the problem. The problem is opening your country to so much mass migration from other country. What's the issue? What would you do instead of what France is doing? Like the problem is their migration policy, not their laicite.
Exactly.
But it still hasn't changed. still 51% of people do believe that
That,
Sharia
that
law.
laicite is not there to change people. Laicite is there to keep fucked up people, their views into basically taking over the government and other public areas.
Exactly.
Is not like a method of changing people's opinions.
The problem is Islam,
Okay.
not French secularism. The problem,
Okay.
the problem is the fuck Muslims who, if you don't like them, they don't like it, they get the fuck out.
What, you think 50% it's high or low? I guess 51% it's maybe women, but who knows?
Most of this.
How do I get you typed in ChatGPT, how do I get rid of Muslims? Oh, hello? Who's anybody talking? You're Armand, you muted your microphone. Okay, let somebody else talk now.
All right, so yeah, the whole blame the Jews thing is, I think that it got worse because I think that there's a lot of right wingers that used to at least not care about Israel. I think that now they care a whole lot, and I don't understand why. This guy was in is he got famous for Grand Theft Auto. His morals supposed to reflect what? And people are listening to him and they like it.
You-
I think it's like an obsession,
Denzel, your
The
microphone
obsession is
did,
bizarre.
Dijal, if your microphone is not proper, like we should actually like don't use it unless it's the audio is good. But yeah, but I think it has something to do with the fact that it's taboo, and it's kind of like a naughty word that you like. It's kind of like, you know how you have when you have a kid and you like tell them not to say this bad word, and they think like, oh my god, this is gonna give me power over you because you don't want me to say it, and this is what you makes you upset, so I'm gonna use it. I think they think like it's kind of like it's like that. It's basically a kid who has discovered a naughty word, and I think that they because they're angry at the establishment, so like, oh, is this what this entire system wants me not to say? So I'm just going to hit them over the head with it over and over again because they don't want me to say it, and I hate them because my life sucks, because I
Yeah.
don't have a girlfriend, because I cannot afford rent, and if this is the naughty word that the whole world is telling me not to say, then I'm going to say it.
I
This
think
is
you
the
are
same reason.
right. You are right, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. So when I heard about like Nazis, it was like punk, rebellious, whatever. Oh, it's a phase. It's gonna pass. He thinks he's cool. He's on the edge, whatever. Now, no, it's different story. I mean,
This is why they double down every time we call them like, "Oh no, Hitler was bad. This is racism." They're like, "Yes, tell me how much you're being like how upset you are." Like they probably masturbate over how offended people get. Like, tell me how racist I am. Tell me how I shouldn't say Hitler was cool. They love it when people get offended, and this is why telling them that this is bad not only does it work, it actually encourages them to continue saying these things. They love it. They love the attention.
like I get it when you're in your own society and like some part of it took it to be too much PC and now you want to break the PC, but it they don't break the PC, they break the I mean only one side can say everything and the other side cannot say anything all together with all these different phenomena that like fuel each other. I don't know. And I don't even know if it's important to us to understand the psychology behind all these crazy people, bored people, whatever they are, people. But I mean, they're fucking their lives more than they're fucking my life in this point in time. But I mean, I don't know. I think those societies are waking up, but
To what? To what? God forbid. To what?
the
Well,
globalized intifada, I mean, I see it. They starting to understand. Maybe not a lot, but slowly, they will
I
start
think
trying
what
and
I'm saying
feeling
is that they're
uncomfortable.
getting what I'm saying is that they are becoming more and more convinced of a globalized Jewish takeover rather than a
Yeah.
globalized intifada. That's
And
what I'm
that's,
saying.
and I mean, if you talk over Nick's, let's say, talking points and all, he likes IQ and he likes all those predictors and he likes people who pay taxes and contribute to society because it gives him fuel to shit about black people. So the Ashkenazi Jew, apparently, I read it a few days ago, are the group who pays the most taxes in America.
They are the only groups in America. My family came from Russia, Ukraine, whatever it wasn't called that back then, Russia or Ukraine. Between 1920, 1930, 1940, before World War II, Russian or East European fled East Europe. They went, I have a cousin in Brazil. They came to the Americas. They went to the south of the Americas. They went to Israel. Some people went to America. So the majority of Americans that got established and the Americans know are actually Russian Jews, Hungarian Jews, whatever, like East European Jews. So they think all the Jews everywhere are like this. Obviously, other Jews also came to America, but they got fixated on this one group of people that, I don't know. I heard so much disgusting stuff about the Ashkenazi Jews. I don't even want to start these conspirations, but I mean, it's insane. It's insane.
Well,
We are not really Jewish. We are Kozakim. I don't know. I'm not Kozaki. I'm more Knaanite than anyone here. I don't know what they're talking about. They, I think America are obsessed with color, okay? Even American Jews, when they come here, they're obsessed with our shade. I mean, all of me, my sisters, my cousins, we all come in different shades. We are all over the spectrum. In each family, we have all the spectrum. And they are obsessed with this thing about color and race. And I saw Filipino. Oh my God, I saw this. Chill, dude, stop talking about race and color all the time. I mean,
They see the
we talk
entire
about it
group.
like, oh yeah, I like this Moroccan fish, whatever, or something else like cultural related food, dress, whatever. No. I'm saying
Americans.
Americans are obsessed with that. And when they
oh,
come
okay.
here with this American approach, they see everything to this land. They cannot separate it. It's so deep inside of them to treat everything like it's race related. They,
Mm.
I don't think we don't see it like this, like
But wasn't it
I,
like
I
that
need,
before early
I,
parts of Israel history? It used to be like this, but now it's not like this anymore.
Armin,
we are mixed as a
let's go.
Oh,
society. 75% of us are mixed since this 50s, 60s. I mean, okay, once some group is coming to Israel, obviously it takes time, but I don't I don't know. My family is mixed. I don't know a lot of families that are not mixed. I know families that are not mixed from all the whatever, all the places or culture, but it's not because they chose to be racist. It just, I don't know. Their mom and dad is from the same, you know.
Yeah.
That also can happen.
All right. So we need to move on. Arman, what's in your mind? Arman?
Arman, you raise your hand multiple times.
I sent the link to the 6 in 10 Muslims accepting Sharia law. So there's that. How do you respond to people saying that banning Palestinian protesters or calling for the intifada, if you're banning it, some people might say it's a violation of free speech. How do you respond to that?
You have to be consistent, and if you are banning, if you have hate speech laws and you're not banning these motherfuckers, then the law should apply to all of them. I mean, I'm against hate speech laws, but if you have them, it has to apply to these fuckers. It's not a violation of free speech if you don't have like that American level free speech. If you're living in the UK, you don't have the same level of free speech, so nothing, no rights are being violated. If you're living in Germany, you don't have the same level of free speech of America. So none of those rights are being violated.
All right, Dajjal.
Anyone else?
What do you guys think about banning Palestinian protests? I mean, the protest is not a free speech. Like you could have the right to say shit, but you don't have the right to come out and do a protest. I mean, if it was up to me, I would designate the Palestinian cause as a terrorist movement, not just Hamas, not just Hezbollah. Anything that is for the Palestinian cause would be labeled as supporting terrorism, and then any laws that basically limits the actions by terrorists would apply to anything that is related to the Palestinian cause. And having a protest, having a gathering, that is not freedom of expression. Any gathering for a terroristic movement then could be illegal based on that criteria.
Like, I think under American Constitution, like inciting violence is not protected free speech, right? Like, does that make sense?
Direct inciting direct violence. Direct, not general. It has to be direct.
There's the loophole.
Oh, okay.
I think we can talk about the difference between Palestinian and Palestinianism. And maybe
There is
because
no
obviously,
Palestinian.
no, there is people that identify as Palestinian, but as the movement that want to
Identity
free Palestine
itself
from the Jews,
is
it's a
based on
problem.
imperialism.
There are people who identify as giraffes. I don't have to
Sababa.
recognize it. Huh?
You do what you want
I
to
think
do, but they can do whatever they want to do. But
No,
it's a
no, no, no,
movement.
no, 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 no. I cannot identify it as a baby killer because this is what I like and you will accept it. I cannot identify it as a murderer because I like it and you will accept it.
I identify as a xenomorph.
If you
I
want to
don't know
identify
that.
as a nightstand, go for it. You do you. I agree.
We don't have to recognize it just because they self ID that way. We don't have to respect it. We don't have to recognize it. We don't have to even acknowledge it. To me, a Palestinian is a terrorist. Those people who live in Gaza, they're the people of Gaza. Okay? Anybody who I only identify somebody as a Palestinian if they belong to the Palestinian movement, which is a terroristic movement.
I
So
agree,
if I'm
Varm.
calling you if I call you a Palestinian, I'm insulting you. But being a Palestinian is actually something that you have decided.
God
So it's worse.
Wait, Armin Navabi, wait, I have another question. So this is about two-state solution. I don't believe in two-state solution. I'm like super confused about what's the real solution about this. Wouldn't a one-state solution destroy the Jewish identity of Israel and destroy the Jewish majority and all that? Like, wouldn't that be a problem?
No,
I
not
don't
if
think
you
this
do
is a
it in
problem.
not if you do it in phases, and not if you do it in phases in multiple decades. The two-state solution is basically just creating an Islamic republic right next to Tel Aviv.
I 100%
So
agree with that. I 100% agree that two-state solution is very dangerous, but you need to have like a socialist government to maintain the future generations.
Gila, you were shaking your head. What were you shaking your head to?
I mean,
Eh,
20 years
well,
ago, 10 years ago, we can say two-state solution, one-state solution. Now it's not about talking, it's about what's happening. On the ground,
the,
these
the kind of
possibilities are not an option
re-
anymore. It's not a choice that we should make and discuss because that's not the option in the reality.
Let's hear. See,
Mm.
because
Yeah, that's okay.
I also have something to. But Arman,
it
please.
kind of requires a socialist government to kind of like maintain the well-being of the future Palestinian generation. What do you think about that? Do you think a capitalist government could solve that? I'm just
I don't
curious.
think capitalist socialist makes sense anymore when we're talking about safety and security. Like those are secondary things. That's a completely different economic policies are a completely separate discussion. You first have to live. You have to first crush your enemies before you talk about what the economic policy of these areas is going to be. Like I think that's a secondary point that is not related. So socialism makes you poor, capitalism makes you rich. You need to pay for the armies that are required to destroy these Islamists. costs a lot of money, so capitalism is the answer. In fact, Israel became a powerful country exactly when it switched from socialist to capitalist. You could see Israel wasn't a powerful country. Israel was a very weak country when it was a socialist. Exactly when it switched its economic policy from socialism to capitalism, you
He's
saw
right
it
though.
becoming, yeah.
But wouldn't so I was told under the Ben Gurion administration it was a socialist country. What was it true? Was that a
Yeah,
rumor? I'm sorry.
I don't know.
originally it started as socialist, but then it became powerful when it became capitalist. But go on, Messi.
Oh, okay, okay.
I don't know if it's very hard to define the state of Israel in the time of Ben Gurion because it's a country that is being born. So it's very hard to say whether what they were. In Hebrew, we have a term for it. We call it mapai. Mapai is the style of left that they were back then. Were they like the Russians? No, they weren't. I wanted to say to Arman about what he asked about type of solution. I think that the type of solution is not even worthy of focus right now because I cannot get to a solution with a person who is so radicalized that he wishes for his 2 years old baby to blow up Jews and dress him with a terror scarf and toy dynamite and all that. I cannot get to a solution with that person. I can get to a solution with this person maybe in 10, 15 years after he will not be a radical anymore because I rule with an iron fist over Gaza for 10 to 15 years. If it's not me, maybe some other guy. I don't know who. I would prefer it to be me, though. That's my point of view. Other Israelis will argue with me about this, and I know. So it's not what solution, it's when solution.
Perfectly said.
What's Armin Navabi's thoughts on Masih Alinejad? Like, why do people accuse
But
her of?
let's jump around topics. We're
Oh,
focusing on
okay. Sorry, my bad.
I want to add something about Asi argument. There were 300,000 Palestinian working from Gaza working in Israel. They will not come back to Israel. Nobody will take them because they came here with map, with the name of the dog and the people that live inside the house. So nobody will gonna hire them anymore.
Or should they? You can't trust them.
yeah.
It's as simple as that. You can't trust these motherfuckers. They want you dead. It's as simple as that.
You can still be pro two-state solution and acknowledge the Palestinians are too radical to govern themselves at this moment and support an occupation until whenever the Palestinians stop being radicalized enough to the point where like you can end occupation safely. You can still be pro two-state solution and acknowledge that because the Palestinians are so highly radicalized that if you ended the occupation, they would fucking kill you all right now. You have to continue to occupy them until whenever they stop being so radicalized that if you ended occupation, it would kill you.
Yes.
That would take a very long time, but that's one
The
thing.
problem
years,
is that
for
go on.
20 years, I was part of this movement to help them to get their own government or whatever they want to call it, because they have a government. But now it's not important to me anymore to advocate for them. I'm advocating for my life now, for other Jews in the world right now. They should take their own responsibility. They are grown people, they are smart, they are capable. I don't think lack of them at all. I think they are very capable. If they want something, they can achieve it. They show us. They want something, they will achieve it. Now they should just focus on about what they really want. They want to continue killing or they want to build for themselves good life. It's their choice. No one should bother with this. I think it's a part of if you want your own state, you need to work for it. No one should work for it beside you.
I don't think the so-called Palestinians should ever be given a state, even if they completely de-radicalize. Because a population that could de-radicalize can re-radicalize. We are seeing right now, even people in Western Europe and North America being radicalized against Israel. You think a Muslim population that was once so ready to kill Jews and now they're like, oh, let's move on. We could trust them with their own nation state. As soon as they have their own nation state, they're going to become the target for re radicalization by everybody in the world that hates Jews. And now you don't have any control over them.
But it's
So
a
whatever
dangerous
happens,
point, Armin, because you basically say that if you ever fell victim to propaganda, you are uncurable, therefore no efforts should be taken.
no. I'm saying you might be cured and then sick again. Because if you create an Islamic nation state right next to Israel, everything, all of the anti-Jewish investments are going to be right into the country that has borders so close to Tel Aviv. And it's going to probably be easier to radicalize this new Islamic Republic of Palestine than the United Kingdom. This is going to be easier. So the point is that whatever happens to these areas, Israel should never let go of controlling these areas, even if they become the best of all people. Even if they come saying like, "Oh my God, we love the Jewish people more than we love ourselves," you still cannot afford giving up control over this area because you don't know what's going to happen next.
Samantha?
Samantha.
Okay, so clarify. October 7, I used to support two-state solution on pretty much on like the 67 borders, but like, with land swap for like what they were gonna like, a little bit of like the West Bank, like that area that's like basic where there's like cities that's adjacent to like, 1948 Israel. We were gonna get in Oslo.
Back to
I
67, it
don't,
means to cut off Jerusalem.
yeah. But
They
like
want
that's
all
what I
of
used to
Jerusalem.
support.
It's
I mean,
not
like
enough.
obviously they're not getting like, Ariel or like other big like cities, but like, land swap. I don't support that anymore. And keep in mind, I don't support ending occupation until they've been de-radicalized. However, if that takes centuries, and that's on the Palestinians that it takes centuries, that's their fault. So I don't support giving the Palestinians a Palestinian state in parts of the West Bank anymore. What I support is should they ever choose to be de-radicalized enough to the point where they can handle a Palestinian state without trying to kill us right away, then I support giving them Gaza as a Palestinian state, an emirate like solution where they have some autonomy in parts of the West Bank. And if they would like a bigger Palestinian state than Gaza, they can do that. They can get like more land adjacent to Gaza in exchange for giving up, some parts of the West Bank where they have autonomy and moving. That's their choice. If they want, do you want a bigger state or do you want to not have to move? That's how I see.
Okay.
You ever talk to a Palestinian that agreed to half of Jerusalem?
No.
I never
If
met
that
one, and
would-
I was doing it a lot in diplomacy, a lot. And never, ever, even not one of them told me, yeah, let's share Jerusalem.
They want Tel Aviv, they want
They want,
Akko, they want
I
Haifa,
understand
they
that.
want...
it's literally, even if you offer this to them, what you're offering, they don't want it.
I understand.
They literally just want all of Jerusalem. It's all or nothing for them. So it's going to be nothing.
So
I
Yeah.
understand.
if you
I
can,
wasted 22 years of my
guys,
life.
if you can convince these people to not want to kill Jews, then you should, because that sounds like a miracle to me. Then you should also be able to convince them to just get the fuck out of here and move to Jordan and Egypt or something like that. Because that is, if that's how, if because that's would be just as possible. And you're
Yes.
saying impossible. Yeah, but you're saying impossible, but it's as impossible as convincing these people to let go of Tel Aviv. So if you by some miracle have so much influence that you could change their opinions that much, then go. Why don't you just go as far as we're like, hey, how about you just leave this area and leave it to us?
I just have to say that their lefties never talk to me about Tel Aviv. But their lefties that were talking to me, our lefty, they didn't want to share Jerusalem. They wanted all of Jerusalem for themselves all the time, all the holidays, doesn't matter, Christian, Jewish.
It's not only Jerusalem. Ilah, they want Achula.
No,
This
I'm,
one that we dehydrated, they want
I'm just
food.
saying that the people from the left side of the Palestinian map that I talked to for 20 years never brought it up. Maybe they just didn't brought it up. But the main issue with them was just Jerusalem was unbreakable, uncompromisable.
Yeah, they want Tel Aviv and Safo and Eilat.
Okay, this is what you do. You basically
Right,
wait for Egypt to go bankrupt and become a failed state, and then they cannot say no to your money, and then you offer them money.
Their inflation is actually getting better.
Yeah. Well, at some point, I don't know. You have to move the people from Gaza to the Sinai Peninsula somehow. Have a camp there for them.
Maybe it's
That sounds like a
I
Somaliland.
think that's
horrible
what.
idea.
I heard
Sorry.
they opened a
No.
Sephora in Ramallah, and we don't have a Sephora in Tel Aviv. It's like a makeup something
Yeah,
from
makeup.
Ah,
supposed to
okay.
be huge. It's like, New York style. I don't know, whatever. It's like the West. They
Yes,
open it in Ramallah and not in Tel Aviv.
I put a lot of makeup. I should know this. Anyway,
Wait, why is it a horrible idea to try to move them to outside of Gaza? Why is it a horrible idea?
I don't think it's
Oh,
horrible.
I think it's a horrible idea because I'm more afraid of
What?
war with Egypt.
Oh, Egypt is not going to go to war with Israel.
I do not
E-
have faith that if we move 2 million Palestinians from Gaza into Egyptian society, that would not, be the breaking point where
Sinai
peaceful
Peninsula is
and
not Egyptian society.
They will kill
Yeah.
them. In Sinai, they
Yeah,
will kill
don't
them.
Egypt. It would be a suicide for Egypt to attack Israel. Egypt is being held together with American aid.
I mean,
That's fine.
people committed suicide to attack Jews before.
No,
Of
it's really
course.
sad
Well,
for us in Egypt.
But Egypt is an extremely weak society that could be easily toppled if we wanted to. We fund Egypt. We
Yeah.
we prop them up. If we decided we can suck them over real bad.
you don't.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't even. America doesn't even have to do anything. They just have to stop the aid, and the whole thing collapses.
Exactly. Yeah, just tell them if you want your aid, take the Palestinians in. If not, tough shit. Suffer.
You're going on too many assumptions. You're assuming
Arman, you raised your hand, and after that, I see that the Nail Bunny has some pearls in the chat, so why don't you talk after Arman, Nail Bunny?
Did you guys hear about the recent terror attack that happened on northern Israel? Like, there was a woman that was killed,
Louder.
and
Speak up.
did you guys hear about the terror attack that happened in Israel?
Of
Northern
course.
Israel?
Of course.
Thank
It was a moving terror attack. It was people in a car,
Remy.
and he left the car with a knife, doing it on people, then continued to the next village. The next cross was moving on. Scary. Very, very scary.
How many died?
2.
Just two. I know it's horrible, but in here it's just two.
19-year-old girl named Aviv. And guy in his late 60s, I think.
Yeah.
Every time this happens, it means that everybody get jumped, everybody in the area that are somehow related to weapon security, even, if they are at their job, everybody's jumped. Everything it's like a whole thing. You cannot not hear about it. It's big. And it's really sad. But it's daily almost, So this problem is a problem that's very hard to solve. I'm thinking about how to solve this problem for 20 years. Maybe there is no solution, Maybe you should focus on your own societies, how you stop it now. We will manage somehow. But you should save your own society, Arman.
All right. Nail Bunny wanted to say something.
Nail Bunny, why don't you give us some of your insights?
Well, what I was saying in the chat is that this is not Israel's problem. Israel won a war in 1967. They won the war. It wasn't a war they started, but they won the war. When that happens, the lands you have, they belong to you. And if the people are on it are not your people, they're called refugees. And they are resettled somewhere else. That is what happens. That is what is supposed to have happened in 1967, and it didn't. The UN's responsibility in 1967 was to do that, and they didn't. Now, they've had two agencies. They had UNRWA, which we all know is garbage. And then you have the other one, which actually does its job. It resettles refugees. That's what it does. Now, you spend some money to resettle them, you give them some money so that they can establish themselves. And after that, they become part of wherever you've resettled them. And they're not on the dole for the rest of their lives. No, they work and that's it. They're done. They're not refugees anymore. That is what should have been done. And I think that we should stop thinking, oh, it's too late. No, it's not. It's not too late. May have had kids and all that stuff. Who cares? It doesn't matter. They've reproduced. Yeehaw. Resettle more. That's it. And don't resettle them in Egypt or Jordan. That's too close to Israel. Way too close. You don't want them on your border. You've seen what they do when they're on your border.
Right.
So, no,
Oh,
you find another country like Algeria, somewhere really far away. That is what that agency does. The UN will resettle you. It's like, you want to go here? Climate's nice. Do you like it? Okay. All right. They'll bring you there. And then they bring you there.
but
That's what happens. That's always what happened. I don't understand why everyone is sort of like, oh, well, this is a unique problem. No, it's a problem that has always existed and it's always been taken care of by the UN. It's been always been taken care of by that agency, except in this case, it wasn't. And the other question is, oh, well, how can it be done? Well, it'll be done if the US tells the UN you're doing it. Because the US is the biggest funder of the UN. Keep in mind, the UN is in New York City. They can say, you're not in New York City anymore. That's it. We close those doors, we turn it into, apartment buildings. They can do that. And I think that people are downplaying the power of the United States. And to be honest, I honestly think there are going to be plenty of countries, they may not say it outright, but they would be absolutely behind it, like the Gulf Coast countries. And if Qatar doesn't like it, the obvious thing to say to Qatar is, then you take them. Oh, you don't want to take them? Okay, well, then you pay for taking them somewhere else. Two choices. You want them so bad, you want to back the Muslim Brotherhood so much, fine, you take these people. They're all Muslim Brotherhood. They're all part of the Muslim Brotherhood project. That's what a Palestinian is. It is a Muslim Brotherhood project. It's a creation of the Muslim Brotherhood. And the Qatar is the biggest funder of the Muslim Brotherhood. So if they love them so much and they want to push that agenda so badly and fund that agenda so badly, then the answer is, here are a bunch of refugees. You want them? Okay, well, then you pay where they're going to go because they're not staying here. That's the answer. And the thing is, de-radicalization of these people, de-radicalization, what does that look like? That means they leave Islam. Is that going to happen? Do you think that's going to happen? I don't. That's the only way you can de-radicalize them. You don't want anybody following Islam to the letter on the border of Israel because we've seen what that looks like for over 75 years, more than 75 years. We know what that looks like. That is a non-starter. It's been proven not to work. Period. End of story. Anyone who thinks that, oh, maybe it'll get, no, it's not. That is Islam. They're following Islam. They're not going to leave Islam. Fine, then they have to leave. You want Islam? Then you can't be here. Because the only people that I can see that are following Islam in a way that you can coexist are the Muslims that actually live in Israel. They seem to be the only ones that can manage it. And, UAE,
Abu Dhabi.
there are actually out in like Southeast Asia where they're not as, crazy. So, but it's basically Muslim Brotherhood. If it's a Muslim Brotherhood project, then it has to be dealt with as if they're just straight up terrorists. I know that sounds mean, but just treat them like they're terrorists because they either are already terrorists or they're going to be terrorists because they're being raised to be terrorists. by terrorists. That is always what has happened, and it keeps happening again and again. You know, if you keep repeating the same thing, expecting a different outcome, I think that's but insanity. It's either insanity or stupidity, or maybe it's both thing to do. Okay. So that's the reality. To me, the UN did not do their job in 1967, and now they need to step up and do their damn job.